Does that matter?
Okay, let's let's go
Go
back.
and change the hour on your.
No, let's go back in time.
Go and change the hour on your microwave, dude.
Yeah. We cannot
So
change the hour
Fuck off.
back
so
correct.
if you don't know, the guy on the left is the kind of guy that doesn't check the time on his smartphone or his computer. He checks the microwave.
I can just look up and see the hour on the microwave right in front of me. And dude, don't try to change the subject. We were talking for like 5 minutes and you haven't put press start on the recording. You're the one at fault. You should be changing your microwave. Fuck
Yeah.
off.
We start so great, so
Yeah,
organic.
yeah.
Now
Yeah.
we need to retrace.
So
God damn it.
I'm sure most of you don't go the guy in the left here. Here. It's flipped. He's on the top.
Of course they know me, dude. I do the VFX tutorials. I'm very friendly. Yeah, of course they know me.
No, I was just telling you before that every time there is a tutorial on VFX, they thank me.
That happened once.
No.
And then also on one of Ram's tutorials, he was like, "Thank you, Mao." So it's not just me.
Of course.
People just don't pay attention sometimes.
I'm present all the time.
Mm-hmm.
No, they thank him, but they ask me the questions because I answer them.
Ah, yeah.
So it's like, oh, who is doing all these things?
It's
Yeah.
it's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
So
So, guys, how was your 2022 for you? Let's start with the unknown guy who no one knows his name.
well, for my 2022, I've been learning animation more and more. Because we are making a game, right? It's Sonya's Requiem. We'll show you more stuff soon, but since I'm the VFX guy, until there is time to do the VFX, I need to do some other things too, right? So I was learning animation and more sequencer stuff, and it's been coming along pretty nicely. I've been learning so much and having a lot of fun, really. So what is left is just learning facial rig and stuff like that. Because we have our hero Calypso, and I've been just dying to make her have facial expressions or just fun animations for so long now. So maybe, hopefully soon it can come true, and when I know enough, I can just share that knowledge, right? Yeah, it's
Yeah. That
Amazing.
and we cannot afford an animator. It was like
mm-hmm.
$5,000 each. I don't know how many minutes.
Well, 30 seconds, which is a lot, but
It's a lot for games. Like one animation,
Yeah.
maybe like how many seconds? 2, 3.
less, I think.
yeah, could be less.
Yeah, like talking from guys who
Usually it's
are
less.
animators. When I was at Ubisoft, they told me like games was much harder to make because they needed like it's like they require a lot of animations, like it's a lot of small ones, whereas movies is like just larger ones and it's much easier. But with games, it's like, oh, you need like hundreds of animations and every one of them is like small and you need them like super fast.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, possibly coming more animation videos in the future.
Yeah, well, I did start with the authority, so yeah, so soon enough, more videos of
Yeah,
all of that. hmm Yeah.
yeah, Retarget has been very useful. They change a lot. They change a lot in UE5. UE5 Retarget is one of the things that is like they changed the whole thing. It's much more complex now. It's much better, but much more complex. There is not much information out there, but
hmm
it's
Well,
it's nice.
They did automate some stuff, but yeah, it is more complex and effective now. And hey, Dijict, Mateo, Focus, and Clemmy, thank you for being here. Good morning to you
You see,
too.
the comment says it's like I like to see the holy trinity of UNF. This doesn't happen. This just doesn't happen. It's super weird that the three of us are able to just
Oh,
be be here.
Very, very
false,
hard. This is why
false.
we need to introduce this guy after like 1 year or something.
That's false. I've been making tutorials all the time. People know me. Of course I do. Games is all about animation. Yes.
Yeah,
It's all about
I
everything.
also was learning animation, but got too tangled in the rigging and the skinning part. But then I got too tangled with the programming and a lot of stuff. So yeah, having GS support can or will be a lot better for development.
You were doing everything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, especially
So,
since we're just a team of three. Like, we can afford to just specialize in one thing and that's it. But now it's much easier to do many things like animation, VFX, do blueprints. In my case, I have been studying blueprints like in the last month, like a lot. I've done some tutorials on blueprints too. So like I do the basic stuff. I'm the hero for the
How to hold a
basic,
weapon.
how to hold the weapon.
Yeah, and then people write you. This doesn't work.
Yeah, not
And
only
yeah.
it's because of the collision.
It's a 3 minute
yeah,
video, I think. It's like, okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
By now I know how to answer like most of Mao's videos, like, oh, this is the fix, and some of Guille's videos, like, ah, this is the fix. It's,
Yep, yep. Uh, what's up, Anmol and Grips? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
I can't believe the year has gone by so fast.
Yeah, it is. I
Let's
feel
see.
I have been having winter the whole year.
Yeah, we live in a city where it's always cloudy. They call it Lima de Gray. Always cloudy, always gray. But luckily, on these past days or weeks, it's been a little bit sunnier than usual, at least.
Yeah, we have summer now. That's third world country benefits.
Yes, that's right.
yeah. And I would say cheap meals, but they are not that cheap anymore. So
No, they're cheap, dude. Come on. No
yeah,
way, they're cheap.
They are not.
I
We
mean,
went to Miami and what it was. How much was it? It was $20. A normal meal, and in here a normal meal. How much is it? 5? Maybe 8?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, for sure. Quick derail, but yeah. What tutorials we have planned for next year?
Hmm,
Oh,
that's a good question.
That's a good question. That's
I
a
don't,
good
I
question.
don't know who wants to start. It's a tricky one. We usually
It's a
don't
very
make plans. That's the thing.
yes.
yeah.
Just
We
flow.
have a backlog,
We
but
do have a
sometimes
backlog.
that backlog stops being relevant. Maybe because Unreal just put a tutorial that was covering that exact same thing, or maybe another video blew up, or a request. Like there are some requests that are very time sensitive. Like, oh, a new version of the engine just appeared, and oh, we need to focus on that part. Otherwise, I mean, we will see the results, but later on. But if we react correctly, then we can see the results like pretty pretty soon, which is something that helps us a lot, right?
Yeah. Well, on my side, I already kind of talked about it. I said I was gonna be making more animation tutorials, and what you were saying was right. I remember when I started learning retargeting. Um, if I had started learning like 1 month before, I would have learned the old method. So the technology just changes so fast, and sometimes you can get really uh, screwed up with
Yeah.
it. I was lucky. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, just pure animation stuff, maybe more sequencer. We'll see what happens. It's usually very um unpredictable, very spontaneous. Hmm. What about you guys?
Um.
I'm reading the comments.
Well.
Oh,
Yeah. You go
yeah,
ahead.
you go.
No, just trying to stay on topic. Like I've mostly done environment tutorials because that's what I did before. Like in Ubisoft, I used to do that, so it's like it made the most sense for me to just create environments and teach people how to make them. And they became pretty popular, but I'm trying to stay away from it for a couple of reasons. The first one, uh, have you seen the file size of the models that we're using? Like every time you download something from Quixel, it's like 1 GB. And normally I need like 100 models or something like that to create like a nice environment. So it's like that's like 100 GB. And it's not so much about the file size. It's like I need to wait a lot of time downloading, and it's it's like uh, I like it when I already have the assets, but I don't like to prepare like 10 hours of my time to create an environment that I can make like in 2 hours. So I really don't like the new standards for the assets, at least for games. So I don't know. I'm trying to stay away from it because of it. But at the same time, it's like there are a lot of environments I haven't made yet, like the lava, like um, I don't know, maybe some castle or things like that. So there's still a lot of things to cover. But
But now, who buys a laptop with just 1 TB SSD? Just who does it?
well, it was 2 years ago.
Why would you do that?
It was two
Now you
years
can't
ago.
upgrade it, and it's Alienware. Who buys Alienware?
Bye bye, Alienware.
And now you have problems, right?
No, no,
No.
it's time problems because I delete all my environments. I see a lot of people like, hey, can you share the environment? Like I don't even have it. Like I do it,
Mhm.
I create the environment and then I delete it. I don't have
Yeah,
anywhere
yeah.
to put it, and
No,
it's
but
like
now you
100
do.
gigabytes. I do,
Ah,
but I don't feel like I need it. Like it's just like the quality of the environments I can make for tutorials are not really high. I mean, they're good, but you just need so much time to polish that put it in the tutorial wouldn't make much sense. So I don't know. One of the things that they told me, like they recommend me, was like maybe you can do another video, like maybe a live stream where you can polish the environment. Because I don't polish during the tutorials. Like I do all the stuff that makes it look like good. But if you want to go from good to great, it's another story. So maybe I can do that. I don't know.
What will you run? What's the plan?
well, like if I remember correctly, the question was like the how was this year, right? The 20. No, we already passed, right?
We
I
are
didn't get to.
gone. That
Oh,
yes.
No, someone asked like what's
yeah, yeah,
your
the plans
plans for
for
the next
the.
year?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I've been reading the comments like saying that they follow the 5 hour tutorial. Uh, how do I make the rest like hard main menu game modes? Like last year was a year where my main focus was having like the samples or starts or like the beginning phase of any game or most popular games, FPS, RTS, uh, puzzle adventure, no, platformer. And the main reason was just so people can have a good idea on how to start. And I just try to make the main functionality, just try to make the main basics, mechanics, just so you can start, right? The thing is that I do get a lot of comments that, oh, you should also start adding more stuff like polishing it, or maybe, for example, the RTS tutorial, it was 11 hours. And it's really not just 11 hours that I record. Like, I do need to test stuff. So maybe making it was like 30 hours. And I did it in a perfect timing where I didn't have anything going on or I didn't have much to do. But now, like, that keeping up that pace is really hard, right? So why did did that? Again, this was so people can start, but not necessarily for me to finish it for them, because when a game develops, it evolves, and you will be getting like your own way of doing stuff. Like maybe you do not agree in a mechanic, I am adding it. Like it's really not that common that whenever someone starts a game template, like they finish it exactly as it was taught. So that's why I it's like I left most games unfinished, but there are still games because you can fulfill a goal, you can do stuff with it. And specifically to that question that was asking to add hats or main menu, like, oh, we can, or I can definitely do a tutorial on that. But if you're using an FPS, or why have I not been creating more FPS tutorials, is because there is Lyra. Lyra pretty much gives us everything. Like if I wanted to make an FPS, it's like, oh, you just use that as a base, start to understand it, and then use it. Why have I not made a video about Lyra yet? It's because there is a lot of stuff, and I really don't like to try to uh, understand it on the fly, because it seems like too rushed, or like I do not know what I'm speaking about, and in that particular project I wouldn't have like 80% of what they are doing, right? Because not all in blueprints is also in C++, and you do need to have a little bit more of understanding. And if I were to do a first person shooter in Lyra, for sure I will dedicate my time to researching it and making it work, right? But yeah, eh, I can do more FPS tutorials, like maybe a third person one or a new version of the last one, but I don't think it would be very useful actually. Like having a already working template like Lyra, it's like pretty much a gift from heavens. Oh, it's already done. We just need to work on the particularities, like the thing that make your game unique, right? You don't need to worry about that shooter part because there are already weapons, there are already enemies, like everything is solved. So yeah, that's why it's very unlikely that I will make an FPS unless it's a specific mechanic. If you find, I don't know, I already published like a hookshot
The
mechanic.
hook shot. Yeah.
Yeah, you can find that in Just Cause, which is a shooter, which uses that grappling hook very heavily. So like stuff like that for sure is a lot more manageable, and especially in that video, like I not only did just the logic, like also, oh, let's take a little moment to make it look a little bit better. How would this integrate with another assets? Like, oh, I need the chain to go from here to here and generate more chain links. And I did just that. So I believe that provides more value for the content that we want to put in the channel. And that's basically like my main focus in the next year, like providing more value, more quality than just, oh, this will be like 4 hours doing this type of game, because again, we have a lot of templates that or tutorials that you can already use. For sure we will keep doing that stuff, but maybe not that regularly. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, that's pretty much my outlook.
And just one quick side note about when you said that the time for the RTS tutorial wasn't what you thought it would take. I remember that you told us it would be like a 3 hour tutorial or something like that. And then when it was almost deadline, it was like, I'm still not done. And you weren't done until 11 hours or around
Yeah,
there. It was crazy.
yeah. I mean, at the third hour, like, oh, there was, you could click stuff. Stuff can destroy your base, but it's not a game. I couldn't call it a game just yet, and
Hmm.
stuff
Yeah,
happened. And
it's very hard, especially to show all the steps.
Yeah,
And
of course.
like I've been like creating a small game on the site, and when I check tutorials, I check very specific things. I'm not looking for example, I'm doing like a side scroller action game. I don't really look for the side scroller action games. I look for very specific things that I need, and I grab those and I just put it in my game, because every game is unique. Wherever you make a game, it will be impossible to find like a tutorial that's exactly what you want to do. But you can just grab, understand how other people make things with other mechanics, and then combine them to just create your own thing and just experiment with it. I mean, just trying things in Unreal already give you a lot of experience already. So instead of just watching the tutorials, you could just try it yourself, and if it fails, it doesn't matter. So I think for 2023 we will make more like, we want to change things a little bit. We won't keep doing like that exact type of tutorials we have been making, because like Guillermo mentioned before, we're making a game. It's a RPG tactical game. So
Wait, it's action tactical RPG.
Okay.
action
It's something
strategy.
new. Action and strategy. Okay.
It's a strategy. Okay, so
But action.
with action. So we're putting our focus on that. Our goal with it is like, I mean, of course, it's something we want to put there in the market, but we can share as well with you things that may be useful to you that you cannot really find in a tutorial. So we're gonna try to make those. I just focus more on game dev. Like personally, I feel like, yeah, like teaching game development, it's 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 okay. It's fine, but it's like I like to create games too, and I don't know if it's only me, but I feel a little bit like imposter if I only teach game development but I don't make my games. And
100%,
personally,
yeah.
like, of course I made games before. Like I work on games and they publish them, and I even work on big titles. But that was before, and if I don't do it now, like the same things that worked before uh, wouldn't work today. Like we talk about how fast technology is changing, and it's like making a game this year. It's very different from making a game like 3 years before, right? And of course, there are some things that stick there, but a lot of things are changing, and if we don't update ourselves with this kind of thing, then I feel like a cheater when teaching you guys. So I want to be more involved in game development and just create like my like work on a small project and then work on the big project with the team to make the strategy game, just to get more experience myself, like as indie game developer, because before I had more experience as a AAA game developer, which was the focus before, like specializing in one thing. And then after working in Ubisoft, it's like, making indie games is much more fun for me. So you need to learn a lot of skills to make a small game, especially with just 3 people. Like you cannot
Why is it more
specialize.
fun for you though? Oh,
You have more freedom, and I don't know. I just feel it's more fun to work on the bigger picture. Like I guess you could do that if you stay like in a company for like 20 years, and then you're this kind of directors that only check the games and it's like just tell people what to do, I guess. Uh,
hmm.
but I wouldn't want to stay like 20 years there. So, and I feel like I have much more. I mean, it's exciting to learn too. I find my joy in learning too. And when I was in a big company, there is not much room to learn because you have very tight deadlines, and what you learn needs to be very specific. Like I cannot just decide to learn blueprints there, even though I feel like, oh, I really want to learn. Like it's not applicable for the job, so they won't support me in learning this kind of thing. And if I do it, I need to do it on my own side, and it really won't make my levels look better, right? Like my job will be like, I don't know, the quality of it will be decreasing over time if I learn other things and I don't dedicate much time to do the thing that they are paying you to do, which is like specialize in one little thing. So I feel like this freedom uh, can be gained when doing your own game, and especially working indie. Either you do it alone or either you do it with a small team. Like you are free to learn a lot of things, and you are actually encouraged to learn a lot of things, because otherwise you won't be able to make it if you just only focus on one little thing. So I find learning fun. That's why I also like to do more indie games. I don't know, how about you guys?
One special topic that I believe we all agree is like we do like to share a lot of stuff that we find that is working great, and that's not a freedom that you have whenever you're working in a project. It's like, no, you came up with this solution. It may benefit all developers, but you cannot share it because it belongs to the company, and
Yeah.
it's a really shitty thing because some people there are super prideful and take pride in, oh, they see another game and they know that the problem is there, and they tell you like, oh, in my game I solve it this way. It's like, dude, you could have helped everyone. We could not have this problem if you just share the solution with everyone. But yeah, it's just the kind of depths that we are. It's like, oh, we found this cool thing, here it is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that, and also, at least for me, it's like there's no comparison to working with like-minded people on a game that you propose ideas and the others also propose, and just make something that you all like, right? It's just nothing like that on a big company. It's not as fun, right?
Yeah. I mean, ideas will get filtered a lot. Like, oh, I have this great idea. It's like, cool. Like, your leads needs to approve it. Your director needs to approve it. The boss of the director needs to approve it. It's like, okay, and it's just like that. But now it's like we can just draw an idea and test it very fast. Can just prototype something really fast and see if we like it or not, and we don't need anyone's approval. And that kind of freedom is really fun. Like you can play with the tools. But yeah, I will feel like we're more old school in a way that we, like Ram said, we like you to share stuff. Like that's the thing I also didn't like about working in Ubisoft is I cannot share anything. And like as a creator, like you feel the urge to share the things you create, like either the way you make it or either when it's finished. And if it's a big project, it's gonna take a long time. And if it has an NDA, you cannot show it to anyone. So it's like you feel like you're not really creating. Like you're creating something that you cannot share. It's a pity. But now we can share a lot.
Yep.
Yep.
And we have a comment from Steph. She says, "Hey guys," or he says, "Hey guys, thank you for tutorials. I've just gotten started with Unreal and I've been binging your content to learn. Though it's a lot to learn. Any tips on learning faster or more effectively? Anything that comes to mind?"
I guess each one of us can give just one tip.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we can do a round of tips.
Yeah. Ask any question if
Yeah.
you these kind of questions are cool to answer.
Yeah, we'll start with Guille. We never hear from him.
Yeah.
okay, so a tip I will say, well, if you're just new to everything, just try making a game, right? And once you hit any like roadblock, you need to learn, right? So if you're kind of lost, maybe that gives you some kind of center, I will say.
Okay.
Hmm. Your turn. It was
My
one tip.
turn.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, I mean, a good one with any type of learning is to have a goal that you can reach. Otherwise, do not start just by saying, "Oh, I will create an MMO or an multiplayer game." Like, if you're deciding to make a game, like make it really short so you can finish it. Like, finishing stuff will keep up the the feeling that you're still progressing, even though you can feel stuck. Every day that you dedicate time to learning, whatever you are learning, it's still progress, even though it may not feel like it. So yeah, keep pushing.
I will say just work on the basic things, like don't get too focused about the tool itself, like tutorials like, hey, put this button and this is what you get. This kind of stuff like changed really fast. You should be focusing like more on fundamentals, like for example, blueprint fundamentals, how to program, how to create your own stuff, things like that, or art fundamentals like how to paint, how to do this kind of stuff. That it's not this kind of knowledge takes a lot of time to learn. I mean, you cannot skip it, and you don't really depend on technology that much. Of course, you need a tool to do it, but once you learn this stuff, learning becomes much easier, much faster. And like Ram said, if you combine it with like a small project that push you uh, a little bit, like like people say, going out of your comfort zone and just try to create something small for you. You will learn a lot. Having a small project really helps. And when things are not going good, just go back to the fundamentals.
Uh, just to complement your tip, it is very useful if you're just following tutorials. You will find yourself in a position that, oh, I want to add some stuff, but I do not really know how. Like, try to make it very small. For example, if you're following any of our tutorials, let's say our first person shooter tutorial, you could start by adding, oh, I'll add a new weapon that will fire, I don't know, um, fire, a flamethrower, and start trying to tackle the problem and then adding it. Like, you don't really have to create another project, like small stuff that you're adding on top of existing things, like do provide a lot of experience in terms of education.
Yeah, and I have been learning blueprints in the last months, so I'm having like the noob experience again. And I'm not totally beginner, but the way I learn is like I just watch uh, Ram's tutorials and I just follow along. And I start with the introduction to blueprints. Like it's very basic, but it's nice to know. And then like blueprint communication, and then I go to the small examples like the FPS. And when I follow along, like of course I do it like exactly the way he does it, but sometimes it comes an idea into my mind where, hey, maybe I can do this, um or maybe I don't know, in the tutorial he does it too ugly, so I can just put something different, like, oh, maybe I can just put this VFX or this sound, or just try to make it your own, try to play with it and take your time. You don't need uh you don't need to be in a hurry to learn. Just take your time to experiment with new things, and when you want to go back to the tutorial, just uh, play from where you stopped before and just continue to add more stuff. That's a good way to learn. It's been working for me in the last months, and it's like, yeah, it's just following tutorials. It works, but you also need to do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I saw that you made a video on these two mouse. I'm gonna ask you. Dish asks, what about AI replacing programmers? Like, well, I don't know that programmer, but what about AI replacing humans? What's your take on that? Since you already made a video.
I think AI is just a tool. I mean, everyone knows that, but everyone is, especially these days, the artists are like scared because AI is going to steal their jobs.
I saw so many on our station. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Programmers
So
are scared too.
yeah, and yeah, I think Ram can touch the topic of programmers. From the artist perspective, like of course they're scared because the machine can paint like 100 times faster than a professional artist, and yeah, the quality is not there yet, but it will become better, right? uh I think it's great. I think AI is great. I think that yes, like every technology is going to replace jobs. Like that's not something you can control. Like in any business, if you tell someone, hey, like you can hire like 10 artists, and you can just hire one who makes the decision, and then he will use AI to generate ideas, and you get paid based on your judgment and not on labor or repetitive work that no one wants to do. Like I know this concept artists, like they hate it. They don't like to paint stuff. When they have a task, they don't like it. It's like, oh, I need a concept art for this, and it's like over and over and over again. And it's like sometimes they enjoy it because they take it as a personal challenge, but they get tired and that's why you see a lot of artists doing a lot of personal work in ArtStation. Like, oh, finally I do something on my own, because at work it's not really enjoyable. It's not necessarily the topic you like, or it's not necessarily something that sometimes it's a bunch of crap. Like, hey, like we got a screenshot like from the game and we don't really have any ideas. Can you do like a paint over or something like that? And it's like this kind of stuff. Like it's boring. So AI can replace a lot of these things, and eventually AI will only replace manual work because creativity is still something from humans. So there's nothing to worry about. It's like computers were made to for as a tool for to make better decisions, but not to make the decisions for yourself, right? I think it's the same for art, whereas they're gathering the data legally or not, like that's another topic, but eventually it will help everyone. And I read like Tim Sweeney is like his take on it was like, hey, there are a lot of artists that are embracing AI in Epic Games, are experimenting with different workflows, and it's just great. It's just part of the if it's just part of the job, and especially if you're making games, like it's not the same as painting for like I don't know a gallery or something like that. Uh, games have very specific things that they need from concept artists. Like the art is not the final product. It's just something necessary to do something different, to make the 3D models, to come up with some ideas. But they don't sell the art; they sell the game. So uh,
Yeah,
I
and I also saw that there was a lot of misconception because maybe people think that you just type the parameters, right, and that's it. But there are other programs that are more exact that you need to make materials, and there are a lot of plenty of fixes. They're pretty interesting. There are so many workflows. It's very very fun. I might take a look at it somewhat soonish
it is
because if
very fun.
something can make the textures for the VFX, I'm thankful.
Yeah.
Would be great. Hmm.
Around, what's your
Yeah.
take on AI from programming? Like recently, we have been hearing a lot of AI for art, but I hear that there is a dark side of the AI for programmers.
Yeah, um, it's pretty similar, not exactly the same, with the art stuff. Now that they have this chat, what was it, GPT? I don't know, version 3. Like you could ask, even I saw examples like, oh, how should I create a combat system in a real engine? And they give you the steps, like an overview. And it's like, oh, it can even replace me as a teacher. And I mean, eventually it will get there, right? Like the information or the learning will be good enough for stuff that it is being done repeatedly will will be no longer like work for humans. Like our work should always be in innovating. So I'm really like yeah, it's scary for sure, but I'm not worried about the implications that AI could do. Right now, like it's in infancy, so there will be a lot of people that this won't take off, or you're trying to tell me that oh I will be able to write, give me a game about I don't know a vampire and the main character has a whip and it will give me Castlevania. It's like I do believe that eventually things could pan out like that. Like, oh, you have the idea and the machine will help you create that idea, but you still need to focus in having a not only the idea but polishing the details, right? So in the near future, I don't think that that would be the case. For programmers, it will be more like having hired someone else, like a junior type of programmer, like, oh, just do this part, and they will give you code immediately, right? But you still need to check because we're not there yet. And when will AI will be like, oh, we can replace manual work? I mean, that happened with the industrialization and the industrial revolution, right? We have machines that used to do things that people worked manually, and it's still not perfect. As we still don't have flying cars, we still don't have like a lot of stuff that was predicted that could happen, and like we really shouldn't be that worried about losing job, because the jobs that we would be losing will be very manual and repetitive, and that's not the kind of job, at least, that I would like to have, right? And if you're in that position where you are losing that job, it will make you try to be more creative. Like, okay, I can be easily replaced. What abilities can I develop to be more unique, to bring something to the table? If I need to create my own business, well, that may be the path. It's not the path for everyone, right? But yeah, the conclusion is like, for now, it's just like having another, like hiring someone else to do it for you, but you still need to check it, check if in terms of programming you need to see that the code is still clean, that things must be optimized, and there's no one way to optimize a game. It's very dependent of what type of game, what type of mechanics. So yeah, for now, like you said, it's just a tool, and it should be used as a tool so development time can decrease, right? And we can release games faster. And I believe that benefits everyone, the developers and the gamers.
Yeah, nobody wants to do manual work. And one thing you mentioned was like these tools are great, but you still need someone to take a look at it. And this is where fundamentals come into place. I remember like Naval said, like in the future everyone will work for themselves and will just be creative. And what you can do to like survive this kind of thing is like you need to learn like it's like non-transferable knowledge in a way, a specific knowledge where, like for example in art you need to learn composition, you need to have a trained eye, and all these things they just come with practice and years of practicing. And when you already got this skill, you can just decide like when you see something, oh, it doesn't look good, and you, it's like you have instincts for this. It's like, oh, you can do just do this and this and this, and then this will make you much more valuable. So I would just focus on learning those stuff, because those stuff never change. They cannot be replaced because there is, they cannot be teach like in universities in the sense that oh, after you finish this course you will be like a good painter. Like this thing needs to be like self-taught, and of course like you can have a teacher there, but you cannot skip it, and it always takes a lot of years to learn. So this is the kind of a skill you should be focusing on, not really on the tools. Like right now we have Unreal 5, like in 6-7 years we have Unreal 6, and who knows what kind of workflows there will be there. Like it will make us do games faster, but if we already have like the specific knowledge in place, we can just do it even better.
Thank you, Holy Truth, for your donation.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. You say my only issue with you all is that in your videos is that you're afraid to go absolutely step by step for game depth for dummies style, and end up more advanced than a newbie or beginner expects, but simply amazing dedication. I mean, I guess sometimes it's hard to find that balance, right? Otherwise, you will just make a longer tutorial than the 11 hours that you did, Ram. I think that our tutorials are beginner enough, right? Or what do you think?
I mean, the main downside of our tutorials is that every tutorial we are tackling it for beginners. This is my opinion. Like, if we had, like, let's say, a series for true beginners, and if you're a beginner, you start here, then we could immediately get into the meaty stuff of the tutorial, like more advanced stuff, right? But it won't do that great if someone just clicks on the video because it's popular, but then starts the video and they really don't know how to use the engine, right? So I don't know how much that style can work. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
otherwise
tricky.
each tutorial will be so long.
Hmm.
It's tricky. Um, of course, there's something. I mean, like you could do like a complete beginner's tutorial, like to show you all the buttons like step by step. Uh, but the problem with that is like I mentioned you before, like it's um it's like useful to know the tool, but you don't really learn much. You just learn how to use the tool, and you don't really learn the skills. And we're more focused on the skills that you can learn. Like for example, whenever I make an environment tutorial, I focus on the skills that you can apply, not only making an environment. It's like I don't just tell you like, oh, just grab this mountain here and that's it. Like let's just do a cinematic or something like that. uh, I try to teach you art fundamentals that you can apply anywhere, like not only in games. You can apply in painting, you can apply it in 3D, you can apply in any kind of visual arts career. If you apply the same fundamentals, you will make the stuff look prettier. So that's mainly our focus, and a lot of people have appreciated like la- the level of depth that there is in the tutorial. Like I know it's long, uh, but if you really watch it, you're learning a lot of things that took us like several years to learn. That's why I don't like this kind of tutorial where, oh, let's just install Unreal in the launcher. Like this is the buttons and something like that. Like there is some stuff that is necessary. Like I will show you how to navigate, how to move things around. But other than that, uh, I prefer to teach you stuff that you can apply in anywhere.
Yeah, and here we have a really fun question. What's the hardest thing for you to learn in Unreal Engine? If I go back to when I wanted to, well, when I first started, I think everything that had to do with math, materials took me some time to learn properly. I still haven't learned really how to properly blueprint. It's hard for me. But those two were the things that I was just scared before doing game dev. Just any math thing was really hard for me. But luckily, not everything is math, so just a little bit relieved on that. What about you guys? What's the hardest thing for you? Or what was the hardest thing to learn in Unreal?
Networking. That's it. No more explanation. It's like it's still tricky. M- Yeah, more than hard is tricky. Like, oh, this should be working like this, but it isn't. So yeah, you need to test a little bit and you need to do some schematics. But yeah, networking, fun stuff.
Fun stuff.
I think for me, when I started out, not so much of a topic is that I didn't know like where to start. Like, oh, you have so many things here. Like, like you can import models. Where do you create the models? Do I need another app or something? Or how everything works together? And I just don't know where to start. I think that was the hardest part for me because you have so many things to learn. that you're just confused, I guess the best thing you can do is just choose one and learn it, and then that thing will give you more confidence and more. It will give you more perspective on other topics that you haven't touched, but because everything somehow is related, uh, even though like you're doing materials, but maybe you're applying materials in a model or something, and it's like, oh, you also will learn how to do UVs in the future and this kind of thing, but you already know materials, so it's like everything overlaps eventually. So even if you focus on one topic, eventually you will learn all of them if you little by little study like different topics. Even if you don't know which one should be that topic to learn, just choose anyone. Like everything is connected in game development.
Well, I saved the question like it was maybe 20 minutes before. It was Solomon saying, I'm
Oh, wow.
struggling with Blueprint so much as Uni developer. Should I switch to CPP or carry on?
I
If
didn't
you're
see
more
it.
comfortable with code, for sure, use code. Having blueprints, it's really just a way of extending the functionality so non-coders can also participate and especially lift some weight off your shoulders. For example, you have a pickup, I don't know, maybe a coin. You could create the class and the coin class in code in C++, and you could just expose the parameters for the artist to change how the coins look, if they need VFX, and you just need to worry about when do I play the VFX or when do I play the sounds. But you really, it's not a decision of just, oh, I will just do blueprints or I will just do code. That doesn't really work in real development um, in production. And tying that question to another one that I saw is, will you make a tutorial for C++ in Unreal? Yes, for sure I will make a tutorial on that because it's something that I have been trying to make it entertaining because YouTube is a platform that rewards that retention. I can't just, oh, I will sit around and I will teach you C++ just the way they taught me because it was not entertaining enough to capture new audiences. So if I can make it entertaining, then for sure I will publish it. But yeah, it's a lot harder than it looks. Who would have thought that watching some guy typing stuff in the machine like wasn't fun? But yeah, it will get there. Don't worry about that. I had more questions, Safety, if you don't have any.
Go for them.
Yeah.
Uh, One was, you guys have any tips on how to go by level design, specifically interior? It can be daunting as it feels like writer's block, but for level design.
I think it's just the same. Uh, there are a lot of things I learned over the years when doing environments. Like interiors is just uh, I mean, what is scary about it is that you need like more modular pieces because like in an open world it's like you don't really need them. Like you can have your terrain, put some rocks there, and it's like more freeing. In a closed environment, you have like everything needs to be tied up. One rule, uh, like if you want to go specifics, just make one block out for your entire interior, and don't think about the modular parts. Otherwise, because if you don't do the block out first, and you don't have any idea of what kind of thing will go inside, you cannot think about the modular parts. The problem with this is that I see a lot of tutorials on level design. They start with the modular parts of the of the environment. And this is because they already know exactly like what kind of thing they want to make. But if you're just making an interior and you're like blocked, like you say, like writer's block for level designers, like you don't know like how to do them, just do it super dirty, like do the entire block out, like model it in Blender or something, and then just break it into different parts. Like, oh, this wall can be break into, I don't know, like you have a wall like this, you have like smaller parts, you can just create some smaller parts and then replace it little by little. um, that's as far as the technical part. um, but eventually it's just the same. It's really just the same. It's the same workflow.
I see. Got more questions, Ram?
Yep. Oh, where was it? Oh, here. For the truth, hostage say I would say you'll need to also make some tutorials with blueprints that don't require from scratch at times, something that helps build a game without much to. If I understood correctly, um, most of our tutorials with blueprints are like we start from scratch, and we didn't used to do that, or well, I didn't used to do that until I made one, the first person shooter, which uses a template from the early access version. And that was a mistake because the template changed, and then all the steps in the tutorial were using the template, then it got messed up. So that's why usually I try to do it from scratch and try to do it very quickly, but still, like, if you already have seen it, you could get bored by that and just skip it. But yeah, that's why I don't really use templates and just create the bare minimum so I can have something working. Yeah, and learn from my mistakes. You do not want to keep posting the same answers over and over. Like, no, the template changed. Here it is. Here's the fix. So yeah, that's why usually most of the tutorials are from scratch.
Yeah. CL says your environment design is the best. I wish I had an art talent to build my own characters. Your levels are great. I love it. Thank you. Even though I don't have much time to do the environments, I'm glad you like them. And yeah, just keep working on the art fundamentals. You will get there. Let's see,
One
any
says,
other.
"Oh yeah, yeah." Also, when you're dropping a multiplayer video, I will think about it. I will try to make one for sure next year, but not like our usual video, like, oh, the complete one. Maybe I'll do it in chunks, like, oh, this is the most basic stuff you need to know, then go to the next one and the next one, and whenever we have like 5 of them, we can group them and have maybe like the fundamentals video for blueprints. Then that could be possible. Yeah, I'll think about it. But yeah, multiplayer is fun when it works. The other one was, where are you from? Are you from?
Yeah, a lot of people think we're from India.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've heard it a lot.
It's
It's
my
hard.
bad, man. It's my bad.
Yeah. I mean, we're from Peru. If you don't
South
know where it
America.
is, it's in South America.
Hmm.
I know there are a lot of. South America is not very well known for game development. This is why it's the last thing that comes into your mind. But yeah,
Yes.
we're from there. So we actually our mother language is Spanish. It's not English. So you can feel the accent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the accent is real. Um, there was a like a response to what I was talking about. Like Stephen Ulvari's tutorial is not entertaining. It's informative. He has made over $2 million on it. Yeah, but for sure he didn't made it in YouTube. Like you mentioned that he was selling a course and you were learning a lot. Like YouTube is really good for that. Like some exposure for your course to sell. The thing is that we want to make games, no, not more courses. So that's why the action game was titled like the last course that we will do, because it really is the last course that we will do. Like we will still keep putting up tutorials here for free, but more paid courses, I don't believe
Yeah,
that we will be doing any of that in the near future.
yeah. Someone asks, "Where are you teaching AAA games?" Well, that's the course where we teach AAA games. I will put a video here. Like this is the game. Uh, of course, like we show like AAA workflows, how to create the game from scratch, and it's being constantly updated. Like this version was the last one, but now we have like powers and like the skill system, and we're adding like more and more things. So this is where you will find this, you say, the AAA secrets applied to a how can they work for a indie game project, right? So um, this is it. It's very special because it's aimed for indie game developers actually, uh, but it has like AAA workflows and a lot of stuff you won't find outside because it's like Ram said, it's a little bit boring maybe, but it's very useful. But yeah, that was our shameless self promotion. But talking about AAAs, you can still apply AAA workflows if you're an indie. You just need to apply it to your own thing. So uh, it's not that they're not useful for indies; they are. But you need to think about your strengths and your weakness and how many people you have and how can you adapt these kind of systems to you to create something that it works for yourself.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add, because I was reading the chat. It's like uh, I made a whole game with and shipped a whole game with blueprints. I do not recommend it. It can be done. I do not recommend it. Like, do spend some time to read some code if you're going to be in charge of the programming aspect of it. It will let you uh, feel more free with the stuff that you can do in the engine, and it will be easier to port it to a console. So yeah, and I see the question again about the you're struggling with Blueprint. Again, you can do everything in C++. Blueprints is just a nice way to prototype and to expose functionality to artists or to non-coders. So eh, also it's a really good learning tool if you don't have any experience programming. It's a way of showing logic without worrying too much about the syntax, which is something that I do really appreciate when I'm teaching programming to someone that has no experience with it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that topic.
uh Here's another one. Like, do you have plans on making Quixel Mixer tutorials? And do you guys plan on making any trimship Atlassian videos within Unreal? I was thinking about it, and I think I may do it soon because it's a little bit of a relief for me. I don't want to make an environment tutorial. Good that you confirm that you're actually interested, because one of the things that stopped me is because maybe not too many people are interested in doing this. So I might just do it. It can be a fun topic to touch.
Thank you so much, Seal, for the donation. And Your wife is also Latino. Yeah, yeah. We are again South America, Peru. Um, we have the most neutral accent within the Latino community.
Yeah, could be worse.
Thank you. Could be worse, yes, for sure.
Yeah, it could be heavier.
Can you make a tutorial on setting up a merchant or NPC?
Merchant. Yeah.
I guess like where are you buying? Where are you selling?
Yeah, if it's small enough, for sure, it can be done. But don't expect it to be the solution for all your problems about that. Like, for sure, I wouldn't want to be able or to be stuck trying to make a good UI for that. Like, yeah, it can be done, but some aspect of it could be
Hmm.
could be good to do.
There we go. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. That was weird. Have we talked about have we talked enough about the game that we're making? Or has it been enough? Have we? I cannot recall.
We only said that it was an action strategy game, an RPG action strategy game, and that's
Well,
it.
we are well, as you said, right? We enjoy doing the tutorials. We also want to spend a little bit more time doing games, which is what we love. So the main idea was that make a game and also record the progress and maybe show some special mechanics and stuff like that, right?
Uh, yeah, it's in early stages, so we cannot really show it yet. Uh,
Just yet.
because there are like a lot of things that still we need to find answer for those things when making a game. But for sure, we will have more videos about the game we're making, and hopefully, it will be informative at the same time a little bit entertain, and it can inspire you to just make your own game.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to make even videos about the making of the game. Oh, he's back. For example, like the first day is like, oh, we do need a repository to start working together. Otherwise, we cannot integrate the changes or integrate the progress. And like sharing around a folder through Google Drive is really not a way to develop any type of game whenever you're more than one person, right? So yeah, there are a lot of there are a lot of functionality that must be done uh, before starting, and yeah, maybe I can do a video about that, or maybe a short. Although the last time I did a short, we lost a subscriber, but it could be interesting this time.
Yeah, Chica 69 Chi says, I use Unreal for fun. That's good too. Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, we're all for it. I mean, we just do this because of fun. It's not really work for us anymore. So you need to find something you're having fun doing it, and just keep doing it. Eventually, you become better at it. Whether or not you make money from it, it really doesn't matter. Okay, I guess we can call it a day.
Yeah, yeah. I believe we have lost our trusty pal
Yeah, no
in
wonder why
in
no
the
one
midst.
know him.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much for being here. Um, if you like it, let us know in the comments that you like it. Otherwise, very hard for us to do it again. uh, we will continue to do this kind of stuff because one of the things we want to do this year as a 2023 is to be more engaged with you, like have more like personal connection with you guys. When in a tutorial we cannot do that much, but we want to have more spaces like this so that you can, I don't know, you can have a chance to interact with us and for us to interact with you too. So yeah, hopefully it's been fun. It was fun for me at least.
That was weird. I'm back. I had to restart. Don't know what happened. So what did I miss?
Yeah, we're wrapping up.
Yeah,
You're
we're
already
wrapping up.
late for the wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the 30-minute countdowns before next live stream. We can do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
We didn't even press start live stream in this one, so yeah, we'll get better. A
Yes.
lot better.
Yes. I
Yeah.
hope this was fun for you guys
Yep.
and that you enjoyed it.
Right. I'll see you next time.
Yeah. See you, everyone.